Hey, Johnnie Roberts, welcome back. It's going to be another great episode of your podcast. Are you feeling well today?
Doing really well. How you doing, man?
Good. Unbelievable. It's just a great time of life, good season, kicking things off for the new year, and really excited to be talking with you about life insurance once again, kind of that Swiss Army knife concept that we talked about last time. And we had a great discussion last time about a new mindset around life insurance, how life insurance kind of bundles things together now. So there are multiple benefits, kind of like that Swiss Army knife. And love to talk a little bit about some of those, I guess, those hidden features of life insurance, kind of like the Swiss Army knife with the knife and the spoon and everything. They're hidden until you pull them out and you go, wow, didn't know it had that. I think life insurance is that way too, right?
Yeah, it's like peeling beneath the onion layer, right? Seeing what all I get. Like it used to be, insurance was what it was. Oh, this is all there is to it. We know exactly what it is, but now there's so many other layers that can be underneath it that can come on these life insurance policies, man. That can really help you with so many different areas of your life that you're like, man, I can touch several bases uh, with one uh, with one hit right here. So turn a single into a triple without any extra effort, right? And that's kind of what you can do with some of these plans.
Yeah, I love that. So let's just dive into three or four. I mean, life insurance, it really is like one of those really big Swiss Army knives when you start unpacking all the different varieties. But it really has to be tailored to each family, each family you work with. You have to understand what they're trying to make happen and which kind of life insurance policy would be best for them. But let's kind of take a high level view and talk about just a few of those hidden features that life insurance companies have now bundled in that can really make a difference for people in retirement.
Yeah. So basic, you die, they pay money, right? We got that down, tax free. That's
There you
the
go.
general gist of number one. Number two is it's interesting about 15, man, it's been 15, 16 years ago. I worked for the first insurance company directly that ever offered this type of product. So they created what I'm going to tell you, but now everybody does it.
Okay.
It's what you would consider the tagline back then was life insurance you don't have to die to use. That sounds pretty cool. And
Okay.
so what that brings to it, the extra layers or the extra parts of the Swiss Army knife is what they call accelerated death benefit riders. So what does that mean? Is I can accelerate my death benefit. In other words, I don't have to die to get this death benefit if certain things happen. Now, what are those things? It's a critical illness benefit, a chronic illness benefit, and a terminal illness benefit. Terminal illness is easy. The doctor says, hey, you got 12 months to live. Some companies are 24 months, whatever. I got a terminal illness. Unfortunately, Johnny, it's not going to happen unless there's some huge miracle from the Lord. But other than that, you've got 24 months or less to live. This is, or 12 months, whatever. They'll let you accelerate a big, big chunk of that death benefit. So if it's $500,000, you might be able to accelerate 450,000 bucks. I'm getting it while I'm alive. That way I can go ahead and get things taken care of that me and my wife wanted to handle, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? I can accelerate and get that money to help with situations so they don't have to die to figure out what do I got to do. No, we can handle that ahead of time.
Yeah, and that's really really important when people understand that life insurance today, a properly structured policy, can give you those benefits while you're living. I always term them as living benefits of life insurance versus the death benefit of life insurance. It now has both, and wow, that just opens up a lot of security, a lot of peace of mind to go, wow, you can do that. And I think
Yes.
it's one of those hidden benefits, right?
Yeah, that's the first part of it is the terminal illness, which is really nice for people, especially if you're married and you got a family and you want to like, hey, let me help you go ahead and get these things handled. Force them, probably going to be gone soon, but at least we can get house paid off, things invested properly, stuff handled before I die. The second one is a chronic illness benefit. What's chronic means? It's an ongoing illness, right? Think something like Alzheimer's, dementia, or other things that are just chronic. And what's the definition of it? Well, the insurance company's definition is you can't do two of what they call six living activities. What are those? Bathing, going to the bathroom, moving around, thinking for yourself, eating for yourself, or taking your own medication. It's not that you can't do all six, it's just two of them. So I have an illness. that says I can't do two of those six things, boom,
Okay.
this pot of money we talked about last week,
Yeah.
now I could do a claim to get some of that money once again while I'm alive as well. So I can
Okay.
turn to this avenue versus maybe investments or other things over here that are designed to provide a lifetime income or whatever it may be, to look at this investment now and say, okay, I can pull out of this pot of money if I have a chronic illness to help me out. I don't have to go to a facility. I don't
Right.
have to even have special care. My wife can take care of me, my husband, whatever it may be. It's triggered on two of six living activities, not on who you're getting care from, whether you're getting care or not. That's what triggers it. So it makes it much more
Right.
flexible than like a traditional, it's not long term care, but it
Right.
just gives you a pot of money to dive into in case that type of illness happens.
Yeah. And sometimes it's really good. It's almost like a when people are building a house, right? If they own a house or they're building a house, they get a bridge loan, is what I've always heard it. It's a loan during the time that you're building the house, that you're living in your house, then you pay it off. And that's kind of conceptually what you're talking about. Is it may be that you don't need long-term care for the rest of your life. You might just need it for 6 months, 8 months, a year. That's one way to tap into some of that money that's there in that policy that Johnny's helped you structure for your family. And those dollars are tax free because they're coming out of a life insurance program, so you don't have to pay taxes on it. So it's a dollar for dollar, and a lot of other benefits that you help people really understand to provide not just for retirement, but in retirement to provide peace of mind and access to protection, access to monies to care for yourself and your family during that time period, right?
Absolutely. That's what it's designed to do. Like we talked about before, man, taking the burden off your shoulders and passing it on to a company that's going to provide you. You may have only paid this policy for 4 years. So you
Yeah,
put in 15 grand. And next thing you know, you have a chronic illness and you're able to get out $150,000 of that death benefit earlier to whatever it may be. It's not like
right,
a loan where you got to pay it back, but basically when you pass away, the remaining amount of the death benefit or whatever is going to be paid to your family. But what it allowed me to do is get access to funds on a tax advantage situation versus digging into my own savings account, which I know is really going to need to be there
right.
long term, whether I'm alive or not, to provide
Absolutely. Because
income.
yeah, yeah, and it doesn't touch your income because you need that guaranteed income every month that we'll talk about soon about. It's that paycheck for life that we've talked about, right? That's going to be there. You don't want to take money out of that to pay for these other things when you've got this other pot of gold, this pot of money that you have access to. It's really a neat concept of that Swiss Army knife of life insurance of how can you set yourself up to retire at new heights because you've got access to capital, access to money that is yours if you should need it.
Absolutely. And it's two of those benefits are there. And then the third one is a critical illness benefit, which is heart attack, stroke, cancer, those type of things that happen. You're not going to die from these things, hopefully. But if you have those things and you're still living, um, an example, my mother passed away from cancer. Man, it's already been, I can't believe it. We just had what our ninth Christmas without her. It's
Wow.
unbelievable. Almost 10, it'll be 10
Yeah.
years this year in 2025 here. But they didn't really have this. She couldn't get it because of health reasons anyway. But if she had a policy like this, towards the end there, we wanted to take her to the cancer center in Anderson, Texas, right, to try and get special treatment.
Yeah.
Costs a lot of money. Now imagine you have a policy like this. You're fighting for your life. You want your family member to survive, right? And insurance doesn't cover everything. You're trying to figure it out. You have another pot of money to go to that maybe you can take to get some special treatment or right to try treatment or something like that that you can dig into and say, okay, I want to do a claim on this accelerated death benefit and I have access to, I don't know, say it's 100 grand or whatever. I'm going to get that out and we're going to fight whatever we can. We're going to take the treatment, whatever we can do, whatever it's going to cost. Now I have access to that money to be able to do that because there's a chance, right? There's a chance you can survive. Or if you
Absolutely.
just don't, have a heart attack or stroke, whatever it may be, and man, you're out of work for a while or things have changed financially, you need help. Well, once again, I can go to I've taken burden off my shoulders and I put on this insurance company so I can go dig over here, knock on the door and say, hey, doctor, sign this claim form. I have a heart attack. I had a stroke, cancer, whatever it may be. Let me turn a claim in and get some of this death benefit while I'm alive and get a portion of that too. So a lot of ways to think about it.
Yeah.
Money can, why am I going to
Well,
if I have a heart attack? I have health insurance. Well, There's other parts of
Right.
financial stress that comes on you from an illness.
Yeah. And the other thing, and maybe we can talk about this in an upcoming episode, is when you have that access to money through a life insurance policy, when it's structured properly, it's not like you have to file a claim and hope that they're going to approve it to give you the money. No, the money is yours. It's there. It's like opening a door to a vault and saying, I want this much money, right? And it's there. So it's really an life insurance is really a powerful tool to put in place for retirement planning from any age because it has so many uses and all of these hidden benefits, and three of which we talked about today. And I know there are a lot more, but what people need to do is talk with you because it's not like you can just come in and say, well, I want one of those blah, blah, blah benefits, right? It's you've got to structure it for that person and their family. So when you sit down with people, that's part of the whole conversation that you have with them, right?
Yeah, it's the whole thing. Once again, it's taking a look at the overall picture, really whatever age you are. Obviously, the younger you are, the lower the premiums and things like that are. The older you are, there could be health issues and things, but we still try to find something that fits where you're at financially, what you need to have, what the objectives are. Figuring out what I have retirement funds, what do I have in debt, what do I have in insurance, what are my needs, what am I concerned about, and putting it all together. And life insurance. See, some people get hung up on things like, I don't need life insurance. But if I were to come to you and say, hey, here is a hamburger that does this, this, and this for you. You just have to buy this hamburger and pay for it once a month, and it's going to accomplish all these goals. Heck yeah, I'll eat that hamburger once a month if it does all this stuff for me.
Yeah.
People, but if I were to say it's called life insurance, oh, I don't want life insurance.
Okay. Yeah.
Forget about that. Look at it. It's a vehicle. It's a
That's it.
tool. The product name is life insurance, yes, and it fulfills that thing of death benefit. But there's other things within it now that can meet your needs. So quit being closed minded. Like I don't need life insurance, or no, no. This tool we just figured out is
Yeah.
important for your financial
Yeah.
future. Forget about the name of it. This tool is going to help make you successful, have a
Absolutely.
better shot financially in retirement, protection for your family. Use this tool.
And, and at the
So,
end of the day, and I love that because at the end of the day, when you work with people, the objective is to help them retire at new heights. Okay, how do we get to those new heights? We have to climb. We have to have the right, gear. We have to have the right products. We have to know what it. So what does that mean for you, Mr. and Mrs. Client? What's new heights to you? How do we get you there? And Johnny has a whole toolbox full of tools. One tool is life insurance. One tool is annuities. We're going to talk about that coming up too, and how those function. Right? There are lots of tools that Johnny has access to that he wants to say which tools are best for you. Kind of like that Swiss Army knife you talked about, right? You open it up, it has a knife, it has a thing to cut branches, it has a toothpick, it has a spoon, it has a corkscrew. I may not need all of those right now, but it sure would be nice to have them just in case. And that's kind of what life insurance does. You got to have a new perspective. Yeah, get rid of the name, forget about the name. It's a vehicle that gets me where I want to go so that I can retire at new heights. That's what Johnny's all about. He and his team. And to have these conversations, you just need to talk with him. You can get a copy of his Amazon best-selling book. RetireAtNewHeights.com is the website. Go there, get a copy of his book, read that, read more about who Johnny is, why he does what he does, but then sit down and have a conversation with him because this is not something where you can sit down and just say, well, I want that, that, and that. There are so many intricacies and so many questions Johnny's going to ask you to really understand about you and your family to create a retirement that's unique for you that helps you retire at new heights according to your definitions. That's what Johnny does. That's what I love about how you approach everything, Johnny. So um, I'm excited, man. I love the hidden benefits of life insurance. You talked about three big ones today. There are many others. And maybe in future podcasts, we can dive into that as well because it really is an amazing vehicle. It reminds me, I don't know if you watched this when you were a kid. Do you remember the cartoon years ago called Speed Racer? Do you ever watch that?
yeah,
Right? The
yeah.
Mach 5, right? And he had the steering wheel and he had like all those buttons on the Mach 5 and he could push one button and something would come up and another button and saws would come. That's kind of like what you're talking about. Is life insurance is this vehicle that says all these buttons Some you may not need, others may be really important to you. But Johnny, he kind of looks like Speed Racer. So
Oh yeah, man, absolutely. You should see me running every night.
that's
I've
right.
been
That's
walking
right.
every day for the last a little bit of time now. So I'm gonna
I
get
think
up
it's
to
great.
speed racer. I'm a walk racer, but eventually be a speed racer.
That's right. That's awesome. We actually have the DVD series of Speed Racers because I had my sons grow up on Speed Racer too. So I've got the DVD set. So anyway, reach out to Johnny, retire at newheights.com, and get a copy of his Amazon bestselling book. Reach out, have a conversation with him, schedule a meeting, just talk with him about how he can help you understand the hidden value of life insurance and how he can help you retire at New Heights. Johnny, man, it's as always been a fun conversation. You're full of knowledge. Really, really appreciate it and look forward to another great conversation in the next episode.
Yes, sir. We'll see you soon, Mike. Thank you.